Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, X. Uh, how is everybody doing this morning, man? Beautiful day here in Austin. Getting ready to take Jackson for a WALK. I don't want him to hear me. All right, he's down there. All right, guys, let's check out this market, see what's happening, see if silver's bouncing. It wasn't last time I checked. Okay, well, I'll tell you one thing that is bouncing is S&P. Now, granted, it's only up 0.5%, but just when you look at the bar, it looks like it's up a bunch, but it's because it's the market's basically all the volatility's gone out of the market since 2026, basically. You know, we've been trading between 68.25. We've been trading at 200-point range on the S&P, and half-point moves look big in comparison. But now that's the opposite problem on crypto. And crypto, the half-point move is nothing. Crypto actually has been moving quite a bit. We'll look at Coinbase. We'll look at Bitcoin's price on Coinbase. And gosh darn it. We've been watching this. I mean, we've been watching this 71 to 76 area for, we can tell how long we've been watching because we can see where I drew the box. Gosh darn it, come on. Well, I don't guess I'm talented enough to work it, but anyway, whatever. That's Bitcoin. Let's look at IBIT. IBIT's chart is what people actually trade when they are option traders use IBIT primarily, I would think. And there's tons of supply over the market that happened from the, I guess that was January 16th sell-off, so that was last Friday. Then this Friday, or actually this weekend, we had another bloodbath, second leg down. And that's been a pretty good freaking pullback in crypto, not from the all-time highs. I'm just talking, you know, in the past 2 weeks from 55 to 45, or well, yeah, 55 to 45. What is that? A little bit less than 20%, and that's on an asset that's already down off its all-time highs 30% or something. It's, I mean, so man, that's been ugly. Next time remind me just to get the heck out of blocks whenever crypto drops under the 200 period moving average. Somebody make me do it. Ethan, Ethan has my number and texts me occasionally. Ethan, next time crypto goes, or make me get out of blocks next time crypto goes under the 200-day moving average. I always say, what do I always say? Nothing good happens under the 200-day moving average. Well, anyway, Ethan, so it's on you now. Ethan's in charge of sending me a text to remind me to get out of blocks when crypto's under the 200-day moving average. We got DJ 4 plays here. Yeah, definitely hit that like and subscribe. You may be done adding blocks and round hill. I'm not done on it. I'm just looking back at my decision process. It's not Blocks' fault that the Bitcoin's going down. I'm just looking back on my decision process and think, you know, hindsight's always 2020. Just like I came that close to selling half of KSIL the day before it crashed. Whatever. Hindsight's always 2020. You know, I'm always thinking about taking a profit. So it really almost means nothing to say, oh, well, I thought about doing it. Of course, I'm always thinking about doing it. I hate risk. I'm always trying to remove risk at the first available, or, you know, as early as possible in most circumstances. Okay, let's get this show going here now. Remember, not financial advice, consult a professional planner. There's my PayPal if you want to contribute, but let's just remove that so we can see the screen now. But don't forget, you can always like and subscribe. I'm so glad I learned how to do that. All right, so let's look at some other stuff. Let's talk divas now. And the divas, a lot of the divas are crypto maximalists. So I'm just warning people, they aren't going to be doing great right now. The divas are really acting like divas this morning, you know. So I mean, let's just start with Diana Ross or Mariah Carey, you know, the number one diva in the world. I think it'd be Diana Ross. I don't think it gets any more divish than Miss Diana Ross. It's maybe that's because that's the time I grew up in. She was the number one diva back in the day. Jackson, what are you doing there, buddy? You all right? Hang on a second. I think Jackson is hungry. Hang on, let me give him some food. Jackson, you all right, buddy? Yeah, I forgot to feed him this morning. All right, Jackson, you got your food now. Let me finish talking to my friends, okay? Thank you, buddy. All right. All right, let's talk divas. Sorry about the forgetting food, Jackson. No, I still can, and I've been thinking about it. And I'm not leveraged. I'm not on. I don't need the money. It's fine. I could lose. I'm in a good sort of sense. It's just like a game, though, and I'm not doing a good job beating the game. You're supposed to sell high, buy low, and I'm trying. But I did. I sold a lot of stuff high back in August. I sold 20% of Alt Y. I sold a lot of stuff high, so I'm fine. I sold GPTY and GDXY when they were way up. So anyway, whatever. But it just I need to take the. I was talking to, I'll tell you who it was. It was Jonathan Kwan. I was talking to Ambassador the other day, and we were talking about different trading philosophies. He used to be all in on Misty, but he got out of Misty or micro strategies, whatever, because when the market went under the 200-day, when the Bitcoin went under the 200-day. So then lately, what he's been doing is just looking for assets that are above the 200-day, and that where the high yields underlying asset is above the 200-day and trading them. Kind of the same thing is the max factor. The max factor is trying to show me that, the top 10 or 20 best performing funds in any given time. But anyway, yeah, no, Fish, 5%. I know it. I hear you, Fish, man. Okay, I will check Discord. I can't check Discord on this computer, so we're having a Discord problem. A Discord sign-in problem. Anyway, I'll look at it later. It looks like Ethan sent me a chart or something. Oh, the blue line's at the 200. Okay, no, I see that. Well, no, I see that. I've been talking. I talked about it the day it went below. I was just too stubborn. To follow my own rules. My own rules are that nothing good happens under the 200-day moving average. Back in the day, back in the 70s, moms used to say nothing good happens after midnight, and then they're pretty much right. But it's the same thing with the 200-day moving average. All right, so let's get in here. Let's look at the diversified divas. Like I say, we got Diana Ross and freaking Mariah Carey down here. Here's ULTI's Diana Ross down 30%. But I will say it's been bouncing somewhat and collecting some more dividends, so it's been lifting its investment performance up. But anyway, it's same thing with Blocks. But actually, Blocks worst was down 29, and Blocks is down 25 right now. Blocks is close to its worst, close to setting a new low. And then we got these other three morons right here. We got WPay, ULTY, and frickin' LFGY. Just can't get out of their own way. Of course, LFGY and ULTY, maybe not anymore, but at the time when Bitcoin crossed under the 200-day, ULTY was basically a Bitcoin fund. So anyway, but we got those three morons hanging out right here. Then we got the good ones, but even the good ones are bad today. Even this, this nice diva, K Yield is kind of the nicest of the divas. I'm trying to think of a nice diva. I don't know, but anyway, come on, K Yield. K Yield was about to get above zero. It was only down 1.87%. But now it's going back and trying to hang out with these three morons down here, Alti, WPay, and LFGY. And these divas down here, they're out of control. Anyway. But we have some good divas too. Our good diva is QLDY. Now, QLDY was an understudy, but is now a diva. QLDY has been moved up to diva status, and WPay has been demoted to understudy. Right, and also ISSB and ISBG are also divas. Speaking of them, let's see how they're doing today. They aren't yet on the chart, but let's just take a little look at let's just look over here. Yeah, typical diva. This one definitely deserves to be on the chart. And of course, I have some of that too. My portfolio is down 1.5% today, even with the inverse funds and even with the ATTR because of Diana Ross or not Diana Ross, but my divas. Let's see here, ISBG. All right, ISBG down 11%. My God. Well, anyway, I made content about these the other day, and I said, what's the worst case scenario? And we covered pretty well that it's the worst case scenario. Both assets drop at the same time, which actually happened on Friday. Friday was the worst case scenario, and we're just getting a follow through worst case scenario. Both assets drop at the same time. Now, remember though, both assets can also go up at the same time and will during a bull market. I mean, because risk assets move up together. We're just in a bad market. I mean, I don't care what the chart is. I don't care that the SPY is close to all-time highs or whatever. It's been a bad market for a month or two. I mean, there may be, anyway, I don't care what anyone says. It's a stealth bear market or a stealth correction, whatever you want to call it, just because Bitcoin, I guess it's just in my portfolio because I'm a freaking Bitcoin man, because I'm the moron that over allocated to Bitcoin, right? So ULTY and WPay and all those guys aren't morons. I'm the moron for buying them, I guess, right? All right, Max, the rock of my CAE put me at your original net price. That's good to hear, Marcus. Good job. Yeah, no, I know it. I didn't mean to sell it now. I know it's under the 200-day. I meant to sell it when it goes under the 200-day. If I would, I should have already, I could have at least cut its position back. But what did I do when it went under its 200-day? I added a little to blocks because I'm such a big believer in blocks. And also, I just made a bad market call. I didn't think Bitcoin would crash yet. I mean, it's a bad market call, but that doesn't have it. That's not Blocks' fault. That's not any of these funds' fault. Anyway, but yeah, I'm just kicking myself going, why didn't I just manage at the 200-day? At least maybe just cut it to half, cut in an alti to half or whatever. Hindsight's 2020. I'll go next time. And that's what I use. It's not just the 200-day. That's a simplistic way of looking at it. It can go under the 200-day, then back above, then under. There's some funds that have terrible NAV and are doing great on, like NVDY does bad on NAV, but does great on Tory. So you can't really tell. I mean, so I think that you can't always just tell by technicals or whatever, but I think the max factor does a good job of looking at the technical as far as looking at the NAV performance and meshing it with the yield. So maybe I just need to pay more attention to what the max factor says. ULTY and blocks haven't sniffed the max factor since October or since August or something. So yeah. Send some alerts, absolutely. But I got the one you gave for me. So okay, good. I mean, so what it's going to have to reset if it ever goes back above, and then we'll be happy days are here again. This could be a year or two, but I'm saying if we ever get a bull run again, and then when it goes below, I'm just going to manage my high yield funds more seriously, especially the ones that are attached to Bitcoin. All right, yeah. No, I'm sorry about that. And Ethan's right. I can still deleverage, but it's fine. All right, so ISBG is down 11.52. I mean, but I mean, let's look if it's doing what it's supposed to do. Well, not hold. Let's get gold, not hold. All right, gold's down 3.5. Bitcoin is up. So why is that one? That's not a good look. Is that right? Is that even right? Maybe that's a bad quote. ISBG is Bitcoin and gold. The one thing is Bitcoin's not really up. That's what it is. Bitcoin's price on Coinbase shows a 24-hour change. But from Friday's, from the last time that the market was open, Bitcoin's price is down another 7% or so. Okay, so that makes sense. So it's just you just add them together, and that's what you get. Well, all right. Yeah, you got to like that return on capital. It helps out. Also, collecting dividends can eventually put you back put your NAV back to, or get your costs back to where the original NAV was or whatever. All right, so all right, on the daily change thing, boy, this is ugly. Look, and this is this is just kind of looking at this. I know it's really hard to see, but this is the only time we've really had this pattern where blocks and alti just cratered, and the rest of the divas, you know, look, even LFGY was only down less than 1%, and that's based on Bitcoin. Blocks is based on Bitcoin. It was down 5.6, but it's based on Bitcoin stocks. I mean, in Bitcoin, so you know it's different. But I mean, but LFGY is based on Bitcoin stocks. Of course, a lot of people don't realize yield max is actually safer in a big down move because they sell because of the yield max. The yield does protect a little bit of the down move, so that's part of it. And blocks is using lightning spreads, and ULTI is also using uncapped solutions and probably not hedging, but I don't know. The most impressive thing about today to me is that K yield bounced because K yield from Howard had a lot of gold and silver exposure and got murdered the other day. But now gold's kept dropping. Bitcoin's kept dropping. I don't know if Howard has Bitcoin and K yield, but anyway, but he does have gold. Gold kept dropping, although not really, right? That's part of the deal. But silver's still dropping. Yeah, gold's still dropping. Silver's down 5, yeah. So I don't know if he closed those positions because I don't have the AI working anymore that shows us the positions. I don't know how he's doing that, but that's, I don't know if he closed his gold and silver positions and they're no longer a drag. But Howard actually, here, let's look at this. Let's just go to the historical. Like I say, Howard, look, compared to the other divas, Howard's, I mean, his is the only one that's up today. All these other dogs, ULTI's down like 20 basis points. It's nothing. But LFGY's down 0.5%. You know, then you have blocks down 6 or something. So anyway, whatever Howard's doing, he's doing a good job. And it's not just a one-day thing. And just on a one-day thing, you could say, hey, it looks like he's doing better the day after a crash in metals than the other ones. But you could also say, well, it's just one day. But if you look back prior to that, he had done better than any of these other divas the entire time on a comparative basis. I don't think any of the other divas were ever ahead of him. WPay was ahead of him for a second. GPTY is an understudy. It was ahead of him, and that's a really good one. And it's actually spanking Howard. It has been spanking Howard, but Howard passed it again. But anyway, Howard's hanging right in there with GPTY, which is a really, really good fund. One of Max's better funds. Anyway, QLDY is the best title fund out there, I think. You know, well, I should say that. It's my favorite title fund right now. Anyway. All right, so let's look at the index buffer report and see what else is moving. And then we can look at whatever you guys want. If you guys want to look at anything, where's my old index buffer report? Let's do this. Let's get out this. Gosh, I hate the freaking... All right, here's the old index buffer. See what's going on over here in index buffer land. Feed and 5E are actually having a good day. I talk a lot of crap about those guys, but they're doing well today. Just to show you why I talk a lot of crap about Feed and 5E. I mean, that's a really bad look for Feed to get throttled by ULTY. which is something that I'll admit everyone hates ULTY except for me. ULTY has been above its even line, not dividends reinvested, just on, for, I don't know, a third of the time it's been out. Feet's never been above zero. And they've been out, it's been out more than, actually, let's see. Yeah, that's right. And Feet's been out since last December 17th. That's right. I remember that. Bought the stupid thing the day it came out. I still have fractional shares. What a freaking dog. I mean, it went from 50 to 22, and the dividends didn't make up for the difference. In Alti, at least the dividends did make up for the difference for about a third of the time this summer when the market was going up. On this dog, it's a dog. And not to mention that, it was down more. I mean, it didn't protect capital as well as Alti. And it didn't go up as fast and no one liked it. And I'm using Alti because to make a point, because everyone hates Alti, right? I mean, I don't think it's entirely, whatever. But anyway, but that's how you find a bad stock. That is a bad stock. The index buffer report. Hey, thanks. You're a first time. Dalton, if you're a first time sub. Okay, the index buffer. Let's get back to the index buffer here. Index buffer it's the thing on my station is there's no free money. People that are expecting these covered call funds to outperform the parent, it's not going to happen. The parent always wins just because there's no free, or over time, the parent is going to win. Just buy the parent and don't take any income off the investment. Over time, it's going to win 99 times out of 100. But it doesn't mean we can't root for the funds to get as close to the parent's performance as possible. So let me give you and it means, and this is these are one day results. So over here at the far left is SPY-T. The blue line is SPY-T. SPY-T it was up a third of it. It's up 38 bips right now, right? SPY is the red line, is up 65 bips. So you could say this is catching about half of the upside. But you could say, now look over here at this SPY-based fund, TSYX, this one that uses a little bit of leverage from Tap Alpha, having a good day because it's actually up a little bit more than the parent is. And you can say Feed and 5E, they don't really have parents, but compared to the SPY, Feed and 5E are having good days because they're spanking the SPY, especially Feed. But it's also my rule that Feed and 5E are almost always up the most or down the most. They aren't good funds. They're volatile funds. It's volatile, and it's mostly volatile on the downside is why I don't like that. I mean, think about that. It's never been above zero. It doesn't have a use case. Alti has a great use case. Bitcoin has to be blown up. Bitcoin blew up this summer. People made money. If you bought Alti, allocated to you, made money. But I don't see a use case for Feed and 5E. Anyway, or for 5E or for Feed especially. Look at old Z-Vol killing it. But it's just a way to get a look at all the funds. Some funds do a really bad job, or they are today anyway, like Defiance's WDTE, only getting about a fourth of the upside. So what the buffer thing is showing how much buffer the fund has versus the parent. In other words, how much it usually does less better. Like GPTY, up 88 bips, the NASDAQ's up 99 bips. Now, the NASDAQ's not exactly GPTY's. Some of these don't really have a parent, so I just compare them to the closest thing. Now, triple QI, this parent is the Qs, and it's catching 84 bips, and so it's about catching 84% of the upside here. That's really good. So anyway, that's what the buffer report is. And here we have blocks over here. Blocks down 5.3 when the NASDAQ is down 1. Like I say, NASDAQ's not really their underlying, but it's close. It's, but anyway, let's see the ones that are outperforming the NASDAQ. On a one-day basis, we got TDAX. It's a good day for Tap Alpha. And we got TDAC. Triple QI is almost catching about 86% of that sweet upside. RYLD from Global X is absolutely spanking the Russell by 2 basis points. You got to love that. So that's what an index buffer report is. Anyway, yeah, thanks for asking the question, Dalton. Hey, David, how are you doing? Long enough you won't get hit with capital gains. Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. All right. So now we can look at the yield max buffer reports. Same thing we just looked, but just with some of the yield max stocks. These guys never outperform that, or rarely outperform the parent on the way up. PayPal is today though. PayPal, and InFly. InFly, they're beating their parents. So And JPMO is also beating its parent. JPMO is in feet, and that's why feet's up. That's one of the reasons feet's up so much today. The last time I checked, JPMO was in feet. I wonder if AMD's in feet also or something. I wouldn't be surprised. Feet's having a good day today. But like I say, if you would have bought it and bought Alti on the same day, Alti's ahead right now. You made more money or lost less. You did better in ULTY. And ULTY gave you about the third of the time since it's been out, just eyeballing the chart, maybe a fourth of the time since it's been out, you had a chance to sell it for a profit. I mean, it was actually, an appreciating asset. So, but that freaking feet, it's a dog. I mean, I get mad when people, like somebody the other day said BITK is no good. Well, it may be no good. They may be right. BITK may be no good. It's only been out a couple months and Bitcoin's gone straight. The asset it tracks is down 30%. So we don't know. We don't know if it's any good or the way I like to measure, I always take it. You have to factor out the external factors to make a fair comparison. So, but when something's been around for a year, you can no longer say that. Feet's been around for a year. We had different types of markets. We compare it to another fund that's not even a great fund, and it's not even as good as that fund. So anyway, yeah, those index funds are killing it. Those index funds are killing it. All right. So anything else you guys want to talk about? What time is it? It's 11:15. All right. I got to get back to this influencing game. I got my first 2 signups. I had 2 yesterday. I had 2 people that subscribe, and probably just because I'm bitching about it so much. But I also think because I'm bitching about it so much, people have been canceling because they hear me bitch and they think it's funny. Anyway, but anyway, it'll go up when I start doing a better job, right? It's all on me. Like I say, I think that's the one thing that people miss a lot in the market. The one link in the chain that some folks miss, and not Marcus. Now, Marcus and the guys in here get this, but it's the human element. I mean, is blocks a bad fund? I don't know. May not be for everybody, but I mean, it was me that decided to double down on it whenever Bitcoin tried to buy the dip. That was a bad decision. That has nothing to do with the fund. I made a bad timing call. That happens sometimes. So anyway, I just think that I always try to look at myself for my decision process. Is the first thing I look at when I'm trying to figure out where something went wrong, because that's usually where it is. Yeah, sometimes the manager, people put a fund out and it's a bad fund and we don't know, and they buy it and then you find out later. But I mean, I know about blocks. I've done multiple things on it. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. You have to take personal responsibility for your investments. And I know Marcus does. Marcus, you've made a bad investment before and just probably, I'm guessing, and maybe just gone, gosh darn it, why did I do that? Or, done something impulsive, and then hopefully you don't do it again, though. I mean, or at least I've done that. I'm not picking on you, Marcus. Marcus is a pretty experienced investor, so I'm guessing that, or especially the past couple of years, so I'm guessing that that's happened to him before. I bet it's happened to all of us. When you just do something impulsive, and then like a month later, when you aren't impulsive and you start to think through your process, okay, oh yeah, well, yeah, I should have seen this. Yeah. Anyway, so my problem, but one of my big problems my whole life is over trading. So I try to just trade these crypto things once a quarter, and I'm done. I'm allocated for pretty much. I have a 5% cash or something, but anyway, yeah, I'm still tweaking my process every day. So if you don't have any faith in crypto at all, ignore block. It's just, and I do have faith in, and I'm even though I could sell it now, I'm stubborn. I mean, at this point, I'll just hang on to it. I mean, but I definitely could have made a better decision in hindsight. I could have thought, okay, the parent asset's under the 200 period moving average. This could get ugly. Remember, nothing good happens under the 200 period moving average. Maybe wait a couple of weeks and see if it bounces and reevaluate it. If I would have done that, 2 weeks it didn't bounce, it freaking cratered, then I would have been going, thank the Lord. Kind of what I did on ULTI. I mean, I waited a little while, and then I thought about it, and then I was kind of glad I didn't get it. I mean, anyway, yeah, you never know what can happen. Be up for months, all of a sudden fund drops 20%. Absolutely. And of course, I try to use about 10 funds, no more than 10% in any one fund. It drops 20%, you're down 2%. It sucks, but it's not the, it's not a career-ending injury. I was up 5% on the year, and now I'm down 1%. I lost 6% in the past 2 days, and it was due to my gold and silver allocation and my blocks allocation. I mean, oh gosh. Yeah, you double down on Misty underbody. I mean, it happens. It happens, and So I'm saying that doesn't make Misty a bad fund. That's what I'm saying. I think you guys get my point. Misty may be a bad fund anyway, but you know what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right. That's really the whole idea of the buffer report, is to compare to the parent asset so we can equalize and we can see, hey, PayPay today is a pretty good fund, or we could even find one that, okay, Microsoft, MSFO, okay, well, it's down today, but it's only catching about half the downside of its parent. That's acceptable. I mean, that's not that big of a deal. But now Beto, for instance, is down more than its parent. What is that? What's going on with that? Bob is down more than its parent. So that's the whole thing I'm trying to do. I think you have to equalize for the parent's return, because that's pretty much 90% of how the high yield fund does. Fish only has 9 funds now, so assuming you were even on all of them, and probably you aren't, that's around a 10% allocation. You may, I think my heaviest allocation is actually the inverse of like 17%, and then I have K yield of like 15%, and K yield's doing great today. So K yield's 15%, blocks is like 11 or 12, but K yield's up 0.5%, blocks is down 6. Oh well, yeah, blocks is bullish on crypto. Got to be bullish on crypto. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Remember to like and subscribe. Also, remember, this is not financial advice. Check anything you hear here with the Financial Planner. If you'd like to support the station, you can send me a PayPal at paypal.me/maxconvexity. I'm going to get a Cash App also to make it easier. What else? Oh, and then of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful what's left of your day. I'll talk to you later.